company and its management. Furthermore, the views and opinions expressed by the guests do not reflect those of the hosts, the show, the management, or the network.
This podcast episode is brought to you by Montesa Medical Group Aesthetic Center, Advanced Dermatology, Age Management, and Plastic Surgery. Timeless beauty, safe, and worry-free. Hey babes, welcome back to another episode of Bloomer Babe Podcast. Today's guest is super special. Not only is she a certified Pilates coach, helping women get stronger, more aligned, and pain-free here in tropical paradise of Bali, she's also a fellow Filipina doing her thing abroad. She traded the usual 9 to 5 grind for a life of movement, mindfulness, and muscle, and now empowers others to take charge of their bodies through intentional low-impact workouts that burn in the best way. Let's welcome Coach Jamica to the show. Hi, Jamica. Kamusta?
Hey, thank you for having me. Wow. Thank you for that beautiful introduction.
Introduce yourself.
I'm so... Okay, sige. I will introduce myself. But I feel like you already introduced me. So I'm like, what else is left? Okay. I'm Jamica, and I am a Pilates instructor here living in Bali. Yes, originally from the Philippines, but I left the Philippines, I don't know, I think more or less 10 years ago.
Here at Montesa Medical Group, we've got an overpaid approaches for your physical look. Montesa Medical Group, results are emphasis, effective and worry-free. Enjoy a quiet luxury, a timeless beauty. Here at Montesa.
Ilan years ka na ba sa Bali?
Pero yeah, so ish. No, not in Bali, but we moved to Singapore. Tapos we also had, so there's an island right beside Singapore, and it's called Batam, and then we have 2 houses there, so we were crossing back and forth. So still Indonesia, Singapore, but for a matter of like I think 3-ish years I was there, and then we moved here to Bali. Hold on, actually around 5-6 years-ish. Ganun. Okay, I'm overestimating. Bad with math. All right, but it was a long time. But now we're here. We moved into Bali. I think now is more than a year na. Yeah, more than a year. So yeah.
Ang pagiging instructor in Bali. Actually, we met kasi I attended one of her classes sa Bali. It was a reformer class, and then I heard someone call her ate. And then sabi ko, Pinay ba siya? Sabi ko, girl, Pinay ka ba? Tapos tutuwa ako. And then I knew that she's also from Bacolod. So,
Yeah? It was so
Ilonggo
weird.
siya bigla. Oh,
It's so weird kasi it's so rare. I think a year ago, more than, like, because we would travel to Bali, you wouldn't meet a lot of regularly. I feel like maybe just this year more Filipinos, although I know Filipinos travel to Bali, but it's not as common. Obviously, it looks like just another backyard of ours, right? It's like, it's beautiful, but it's like still the same, the vibes of everything. So I guess Filipinos will opt to go to like Hong Kong, Thailand, or something like that. So very different. But, with the rise of Siargao, I think everybody like, Bali is kind of similar, so you tend to go there, because I met a lot of girls from Siargao, and then they would go to my class and be like, wow. But the first time I just met Karen Yu, and I was like, what? Bacolod? Like, mind blown. I was like, wow, such a wonderful way to meet. And then what's funny is that we never met in the Philippines, but we met in another country, which is quite cool.
And hindi rin siya common. Parang ikaw nga lang na-meet kong Filipina or Filipino sa Bali nung nandyan ako.
Yeah.
Diba? It's common. But people are talking to me in Bahasa because they thought Indonesian ako. Kasi mukha daw akong Indonesian.
Yes. that's funny because also me, ganun din sila. They would like automatically speak in Indonesian. Me and when I teach my class, nobody knows where I came from, and they would always assume that I'm Indonesian. So I'm like, oh, sorry. And then sometimes when it's a class that's full of Indonesians, like most of the time it's a mix of white or foreign, and less Asian. But sometimes the class would be booked by Indonesians, and they'd be wondering, why is she not speaking in Indonesian? Sometimes I'll say, I'm so sorry, I wish I could speak your language, but I am not. But I do learn a little bit, to be fair.
Really?
I do learn yeah, I have to.
Can you speak a little bit of Bahasa? Something that you learned?
Oh, wow. Okay. Okay, don't judge me, Indonesian people, in case you hear this. But I do know, for example, I would say straighten your legs. They would usually say lurus kaki, something like that. Or I know how to say, terima kasih, which is thank you. Everybody knows that. Or sama-sama, you're welcome. I also know directional cue, like, because the motorbike, the Gojek drivers or the Grab drivers will teach me. So I learned from them, if you turn right, you say kanan, which is similar to us.
Yeah.
Like, some of the words rather are very similar to us. Or kiri, which is left to them. Lurus means straight or forward, something like that. I know sedikit means little, stuff like that. But that's all I know. That's all I have in my bag.
Parang galing, wala lang. So, Jamica, I have a set of questions here. But before I start, I'll just have a little icebreaker question. So, if your life right now was a Pilates move, what would it be and why?
Wow. Okay. I guess it's the roll down. Okay, so there's this move in the either Cadillac or Tower where you hold on to a roll down bar and you roll down from your spine, from the lower back, middle back, and then you lay back down and then you roll back up. So I feel like that's how life feels for me. Sometimes you're going down, you're laying low, or you're going through something, and then after a while you come back up, gathering your strength and your core, I guess, in that specific movement, and then you rise back up. It's almost like a wave as well. So life is never a straight line. There's so many changes, especially second I had to move to another. There's a lot of culture shock, I guess, but you just go with the flow. So that's my answer to your question.
Wala ba tayong pulse dyan? Charot lang.
Pulse, yeah. Pulse. I know, I hate pulses actually. But I love giving it to you guys.
Okay, so my questions now are regarding your personal journey. So can you tell us a bit about how did you go from Philippines to becoming a coach in Bali?
All right. Quite a long story, but I have been a coach ever since way before I was still in the Philippines. I worked at Anytime Fitness. So I got myself certified as a personal trainer at Pilates instructor. So I worked there for like 2-ish years. And then we moved to, I think that was around the COVID time, we moved to Singapore. But first we moved to Bali, and anyway, to Batam, which is the island beside it. So it was I had to cross time to time because we had 2 houses, and it's like literally a 45-minute crossing over. During that after moving away, I was doing an online coaching, so that's where I really fell in love with Pilates actually. Although I've been doing Pilates now since I was small, because I used to be a ballet dancer. And in our training, we would have mat work. So to strengthen our core and lines and all that, how to control everything from the pelvis and etc. And my friends that know me, hello, I'm so sorry. Was that cut off?
Yeah.
Okay, what area was it cut off? I'm so
after that you became a coach from Anytime Fitness and you were a ballet dancer, you said.
Yes, yes. So yeah, so I was. We did mat Pilates already in our training. I did not really paid attention to it. I was like, okay. Even my friends now, they would like, oh my God, you used to hate this, because we would have that in between training, and I was always the one who was like, I don't like this. Why can't we just dance? Why do we have blah blah blah? And then later on, But I did fall in love with Pilates more because after doing a lot of strength training, lifting weights and all that, squats, barbell, deadlift, etc., I developed a lot of it. I have a piriformis syndrome, so it's the muscle. There's a nerve that passes in between that piriformis muscle. So every time it's either inflamed, or if I sit for too long, it's painful. It's either from all the years that I've been dancing, I'm always turned out. It's always gripping, or just, weakness, general weakness, where I did not use the muscles when I was lifting weights, etc. We never know. It can happen within that frame. So I was like, after learning more about reformer, because I learned, I did a lot of reformer work, but I didn't really, really paid attention until I did a little bit of more focus on a little bit of rehab to fix that issue of mine. So it's my rotators there. And then I was like, oh, this is cool. I mean, I can actually help people. I think 4-ish years now, I was doing online work, and at the same time, I was learning about reformer and etc. And I was like, you know what? I'm gonna take this seriously, and this is really good to cross train weightlifting and Pilates, because I'm really a full believer of training your body all around. Yeah. So you don't have to just be strong. You still also need a little mobility, and your body knows how to function accordingly. It's like a domino effect. So as long as the dominoes fall in line and they all fall on top of each other, everything flows well. So that's what I learned with Pilates, and I really love it. I fell in love with it. That was, and that training. And then I actually met one of the trainers. Originally, she didn't have a studio yet. And then she opened a studio here in Bali. And it was almost the same time when we moved to Bali. Just because we wanted to have a healthier lifestyle now. So it wasn't really on purpose. We're like, you know what? It's better in Bali. It's cheaper than Singapore. Mm-hmm. So we were like, you know what? I think it's better here. And my husband has the flexibility to move around. So I was like, you know what? We're just going to move to Bali. And so, and then I all of a sudden, this friend of mine opened a studio, and I was like, you know what? I'm going to try to apply here. And then, the rest is history. Now I'm working here almost a year in Bali with Native G.
Is this your first studio ba, or nagturo ka na before from different studios then?
This is my first studio officially in teaching, but before I was teaching mat Pilates at Anytime Fitness, and then I did all of it online training during the COVID period onwards. Before my transition into reformer full-time. So I don't do personal trainings anymore. I'm just a full-time Pilates instructor. Not learned.
And then, I'm not sure kung ano yung mga certificates or training ng Pilates, pero alam ko meron yung iba-iba, diba? They have STOT, ano ba yan, yung Basi, and then contemporary, I'm not sure. But paano ka nag-decide kung ano yung iti-take mo, trainings or certificates?
Okay. So, Bali, my first certification was mat from Basi Pilates. So, classical Pilates work for ballet. So, classical is really the original of Joseph Pilates, and contemporary is more of the biomechanical. So, they're really trying to match it with biomechanics of your body. So, medyo closer to physical therapy. Ganon siya. Pero we're not really physical therapists. We are supplementary to the physical therapists. That's why I chose contemporary, because I feel like there's impact. For me, if I want to help people improve their posture, improve their form, etc., etc. So that's why I decided to take contemporary. Between Stutz and Basi or everything, there's a lot of contemporary But because I did enough research as well, and I found, so when I was doing my trainings, because you have to complete a certain amount of hours before doing any kind of reformer, whatever training. So I noticed that I like the way the Stotts people would teach. Although Basi is also wonderful, but I just felt more attracted to the Stotts methods. But everything is wonderful. It really depends on you, like how you prefer, how you teach, and etc. So it's like choices come with different flavors, but same goal. Same.
Okay. Moving on about Pilates naman, can you describe or give us a differentiation between, sa mga taong di alam ang Pilates, between yoga,
I'm so sorry.
Pilates, reformer,
Hello.
and mat? Hello.
You were cut off. You said moving on, and then you
sorry.
were stopped. I'm so sorry. My internet.
Moving on na about Pilates na. So can you, for people that are not so familiar about it, can you give us like a quick differentiation or description between yoga, Pilates, or reformer?
All right, wonderful. Sige, so yoga and Pilates. When you say Pilates, it's actually all of the. So Pilates has a lot of what do you call this, machines or things that you use. So it's a reformer, it's a Cadillac, it's a ladder barrel, it's a barrel, and it's a chair. You use some other accessories that are used for that repertoire. So it's actually a full set, not just reformer. But reformer right now, yung pinaka-famous talaga, because it's very versatile and a lot of people can really enjoy and use it. When it comes to yoga, it's very different because yoga is more on, poses. The breathing is also very different. Of course, you do a lot of stretches there and a lot of mindful, not mindful, but I guess just really centering your emotional. I don't know. I'm not a good representative of yoga because I don't. I love yoga.
Difference na lang between mat and reformer. Siguro kung ano yung,
Yes,
let's say, mga listeners wanted to try Pilates, which one you think, parang magkakapag-differentiate sa kanila to choose which one to take?
Yeah. Okay. Gotcha. All right. Actually, contrary to popular belief, mat Pilates is a lot harder than reformer. If you are practicing Stotts or any kind of official like contemporary Pilates, because you really have to have a heightened. Of course, you have to have an instructor lead you through, but you have to have a beautiful control of your core already because you are going to be doing a lot of movements according to your own body.
Right.
So it's not like reformer na you can just lay down and push either the foot bar or hold on to the everything. So that's a difference. And then
and then reformer, I started actually reformer
actually
lang
not
yung machines.
Oo.
Actually, mas madali siya for to think up. Pero siguro yung ibang poses, hindi ko pa kasi na-try yung ibang, ano ba tawag dyan, mga equipment ng Pilates such as chair o yung Cadillac, as in yung parang reformer bed lang yung na-try ko. But mas challenging nga si mat kasi parang yung buong katawan mo yung gagalaw, parang buong katawan mo yung gagamit ng muscle, unlike reformer may assist eh. Yeah.
Correct. Absolutely right. That's why mat Pilates is harder than a reformer, like in my humble opinion. So, pero I know they have their own strengths as well. So when it comes to being a Pilates instructor, you actually like in every dito lang yan. I feel, I guess, just lately when group classes on reformers is such a big thing, but ideally it's actually better if it's a small group or a private class. Kasi it's really the focus on how every individual how strong is their core, how big their range of motion is, how well they control their posture. So it's very difficult actually to control that in a big group of a reformer class or a mat class and everything. But for me, I really love people who goes and works out. So no movement is not good, so we still want to encourage everybody to join a class, a reformer class, mat class, lahat. It's actually a beautiful, still, it would still improve a lot, back muscles, core and coordination, etc. So it's still a wonderful workout regardless.
Do you also teach or have classes na nagtuturo ka ng on mat or only reformer?
Yes. So, yes, I do teach mat as well. So, pero sa amin, in our studio, we do it through private class. We do that, Cadillac and chair and barrels. But yeah, I do teach it. I do teach group classes back in the day for mat Pilates. It's quite fun to teach, but it's tiring because I have to perform it. Kasi they have to look at me. It's not like when you're in the reformer and I can walk around and just talk. I was gonna be, I'm gonna focus on reformer. Kasi when you do the mat, you have to do talaga. And then, because they have to follow your movement. It's hard to instruct the mat without visually seeing it. If it's a group, it's a big group class. Now, if it's a private course, then they can do it and I will, do the tactile touch. You have to direct their legs, their arms, etc. So yeah, but group classes with mat, very tiring because you have to do it with them.
Sasabayin mo talaga sila. Yeah.
Correct.
How about misconceptions naman about Pilates? Let's say Pilates are just for people who are, something that has injury or mahal kasi siya, something like that. Any misconception that you wanted to clear for everybody who doesn't have any experience yet with taking these classes?
Right. All right. So, I guess question is is it only for people who has injuries? All right. Yes, of course, pwede talaga number one talaga for people with injuries, but it's only supplementary for people who already had like nagpa-check up na sila sa physical therapies, because while I was during training, they made it clear that you are not a medical professional. You still have to, so you just supplement whatever the physical therapist have been worked this person. Now, each of us, kahit normal person, you can have an injury. You just never know. Especially if you've done like tennis, golf, or kahit gym, like just like me, or anything, runner ka, or you have knee, etc. Because anything that repetitive, you're actually doing a lot of imbalances. You're building a lot of imbalances around your body. Even just sitting on a office work ka, you would have a lot of imbalance on your posture. So yes, this whole Pilates is all about that. It's either improve your posture, improve your knees, improve your ankles, lahat. Because everything is connected in your body. So kahit may problem ka sa lower back mo, your hip will feel it, your knee will feel it, all the way down to your ankle. If you do not fix or address it right away. So yeah, that brings me to your second question. Why is it so expensive?
Yeah.
All right. So I don't know how with other trainings, but for me, it's actually very expensive to do our trainings as an instructor. So it's $1,000 to $2,000 each train to invest our time and our energy, and it's not something that we can do on a weekend. Okay, so we really invest a lot into you, so you have to invest back at us. Diba?
Yeah.
So if it's a very serious, like Stotts, Basi, Polestar, there's a lot of very legitimate what do you call this? Contemporary and also classical. Classical is beautiful as well, but it's very different then. So I guess you can ask ChatGPT the difference of that. I don't want to elaborate, but yeah, mahal siya kasi we as instructors invest a lot of money and time. So it's not just because the course is expensive. We actually have to take a break from our actual work and to that. So it's something that every instructor really blood, sweat, and tears, kumbaga. So yes, that's why.
Actually, I researched a little bit about the training or certification. Hindi lang pala siya yung parang let's say you will learn the poses or the forms, but first you have to learn about the anatomy of the body, mga
Correct.
muscles, etc. So parang physical therapist ka na rin in some point, and then you have to learn everything. Tapos you will have clients then that has injuries. So you really have to make sure na tama yung mga, alam mo yun, everything. Plus you have parang meron kang bubunuin na OJT ba yung tawag dyan? Parang training hours.
Correct.
Right?
Correct.
Before you pass the certification or yung exam pa pala. Diba? So,
Yeah.
yeah, and it's expensive. Expensive nga siya.
Yes.
Parang mga, if in pesos, siguro mga 300 plus thousand and up.
It would
Depends
reach more than that. Yeah. If
Yeah,
you want
right.
to complete the full course. Absolutely.
And how
Correct.
about naman yung misconception na I can't do Pilates kasi hindi ako ganun ka flexible, like
That's always actually that's a very common question sa akin. Like people would always ask me, "Oh my god, can I do it? Like I can't do this."
Hello, Jam.
It is my connection again. Hello. There you go.
Okay.
I'm back.
Hindi mo
I'm
manasagot yung question. Go.
Yeah. So it's not about the flexibility because especially if it's a private class, we would work according to what you have. So example, if you can just lift your leg a few inches off of the ground, that's fine. We'll work from there and we'll bring it higher and higher accordingly to whatever position that we want to achieve. Because what we want to promote is enough flexibility and mobility, but also doing it with the right support of your core. So it doesn't matter. That's why when I teach a class, I always tell everybody, do not look the people beside you. Kasi some people will have greater flexibility than you. You don't have to do that. So just do wherever feels right and will perform you did. So yeah, it's not about the flexibility. It's all about the willingness. Just do it. Oh my God, ganon.
Okay. Ako actually, tumitingin ako sa gilid ko kasi minsan hindi ko maintindihan. Charot. Hindi ko maintindihan kung paano ko ipopwesto yung sarili ko. Anyway.
Okay. That's also fine, kasi one thing I also learned throughout the years that I've been, kasi I also was so younger. I started teaching at 14. So one thing I noticed about people is very dalawa talaga. There's two kinds. There's visual learners and there's auditory learners. So I can say the steps sometimes and people like, what? And then I will do something and they will copy and they understand.
Yeah.
So, parang ganun siya. So it's fine if you have to look around, but just don't copy the exact same length.
Yeah, mukhang visual learner nga ako. Okay. Moving on naman sa pagiging siguro your coaching life, your being instructor life. What's your typical day like as a Pilates coach dyan sa Bali? Can you describe it or give me like a rundown kung paano tumatakbo yung day?
Sure. I'm a really boring person. So, ano lang, medyo, like in the morning, it depends on my schedule. So my schedule are very scattered. But in the days, I would usually work around 4 to 7 hours. So it depends talaga if I have a private class or etc. But in the morning, I would go to the gym every other day and, lift some weights, etc. And then, I would go to classes, teach my literally come back home, regroup, and then I am currently reviewing pa. So I have a lot of still reviewing of all of the what do you call this, like books that I have to finish for my full certification exams by the end of the year. So I'm still trying to finish that so much, a lot. So yeah, that's it. Essentially wastes all of my time. I would come home, take care of all of the housework as well, and I have a cat, and I would come home and take care of her too because she's very demanding. Every time I'm out, she's like meowing, going crazy around the house because she's super clingy. Her name is Reese, by the way. So yeah, that's how boring it is. When you live it's different when you come to Bali on a vacation. You would do everything right, but pag you don't really do that many things anymore. You just like go out on, I guess, on the weekend, we would go to the beach and do stuff like that. But during the weekdays, it's just like every other normal day when you're either anywhere in the world. You have a little routine and that's it.
Okay. So how about naman sa mga clients? What kind of clients do you usually work with dyan sa Bali? Are you notice mostly mga foreigners, or are there people na parang is staying already in Bali, or locals?
Mm-hmm. So it's a mix of because it's really depending on where your studio is located, and our studio is located in Canggu, which is very tourist heavy. So marami talagang tourist all over the world, but there's also like half of the class would be regular. So I do have very international, so some of them are immigrants. I was corrected back in the day, they're not expats because they're not really retired, etc. So they just immigrated to Bali, right? So ganon. So I'm not calling them expats anymore, I'm like immigrants. Anyway, so they're all here. Tapos most of the time I would teach that, and then I do have private classes if they really want to focus on their injuries and etc. So I do have those special populations as well. But yeah, it's a mix of everything.
How about are there yung programs mo ba is customized, or I don't know, depending on the body types or the fitness levels of your clients, or you have a program that you just follow pag ka-class ka?
All right. So when it comes to group classes, the studio has its own specific targets, right? So my arms and abs, my booty bliss, and that's like the programming of the group class. So when it's group class, I follow what the class description is. So what I usually do is observe the class. If I find that most of the people there, because what I notice, people here in Canggu and Bali, they're very fitness, what do you call it? Yeah, they do what do you call it? Pickleball, or they do paddle, they do a lot, and they lift weights, they do high rocks here. So they're quite strong. So most of the time I would make the class a little bit harder because most of the time they're all very strong.
Yeah.
So I think that's the only better in a class. If regardless of what the target is for that class, I would just check if the whole group is strong or very new. So pag I see like half of the class is struggling, I would also level it down, like lesser reps, lesser springs, mga ganon. But it's very varied, I guess.
Yeah, napansin ko nga mostly mga taong mati dyan, fit na sila. Ano yun? Hindi sila bago sa... Here. Yeah. Yeah. Anyway, so for people naman na, can you share an advice for people who hasn't tried Pilates yet? All
right, like to join and try. One thing I have to say is Pilates is really a wonderful exercise that you can do for your body, kasi you don't actually focus on being strong or mga ganon. It's really just encouraging your body to move. So it's not just for people who are like, talagang, what do you call this? Not physically fit, but it's also for fit people. For the unfit people, that's a bad word, I guess. For the people who don't exercise, I guess. It's really a wonderful thing to start doing kasi it will teach you how to use your core while you're moving the rest of your body. Tapos, especially if you're sitting down a lot of positions na talagang it stays like that for the 8 hours of your life. Doing Pilates will really help you like readjust or like try to adapt better. Like parang you don't have that, the more you spend the time not working out is just not good for you generally. Tapos naman for the fit people who lift weights or runner or lahat, kasi I know in the Philippines right now everybody's running. Yeah, so yeah, it's really good for your leg muscles, especially supporting the knee, so your quads and your hamstrings and all of the muscles surrounding the knee area, ankles as well, calves. There's a lot of pressure when you're running, especially if you're not wearing the right shoes as well, because your body weight is jammed onto that knee. So, like, it's actually a very high impact exercise. So, supplementing that with Pilates, especially if you do a private class and you really want to focus on improving your is one of the best things you can do for yourself so that you would age well and you won't have a bad knee once you turn 45, something like that, and then you can't even walk anymore. So we don't want that. We want to encourage a very well-rounded body. So that's the beauty of Pilates. We really work on the full body. Ganon. So anybody can join. To cut it short. Ganon siya.
Kahit men, diba? Usually, parang sinasabi nila Pilates is only for women kasi nga it's easy, ganun daw. But
absolutely not. Yeah, it's for everyone. For everyone talaga.
Yeah.
Because every body is different. Diba? It's just like our personalities. You never meet somebody who has the same personality. So it's the same with your body. It's very complex. Like, let's put it simply, like, masakit yung chan or whoever. So yeah, it's really for everyone, not just for women.
Okay. How about advice naman sa mga taong gustong maging Pilates instructor? Can you give them an advice? Can you share yung magandang route or journey? Saan pa mag-start? Something like that.
Yeah, good question. All right. So if you are considering to become an instructor, number one, I think you have to make peace in yourself na it's not a fancy job. You're actually a teacher and you are guiding people. So dapat talaga your attitude here is very client or customer service forward kind of an attitude. So it's not, do Pilates and I'm gonna judge everyone. That's not how it goes. It's very different. So that's one thing. And do your research. Find, like, how I did it is I went to all kinds of studios and I observed how they teach. So I would take classes and really try to see which one works best for me as a person. Kasi you really have, if you're doing this kind of job, you have to do it na parang nagmamatch talaga sa personality mo. So for me, I really like stats because I like a very technical and because I want to help people. Kasi I want to, for example, if you have any kinds of injuries, I want to be able to help you improve or take the pain away. But again, if you're a Pilates instructor, you are not a licensed medical practitioner. Kahit anong injury mo dyan, you still have to see a physical or a doctor, whatever, get an x-ray, and then we will help you recover from whatever it is that you're going through. Yeah, whatever it is, just do your research and then and especially when you start instructing one thing is that it's very overwhelming to learn how to cue, to put a personality. Because when you're teaching, you have to always be positive, right? Because you have to encourage people within the class. So that's one thing that most people underestimate. 80% of my energy would come out from my, how you bring energy into the room. that's the hardest part. Is kasi everybody, like especially for me, I won't have good days every single day, but I have to carry everybody's energy when I am in a group class, especially. You have to carry the weight of everybody's energy and you have to bring it up. Kasi you want to be encouraging, you want to lead them into the right direction. But also at the same time, you cannot please everybody. So, kahit ano, you can try your best, but some people just don't prefer you, and that's fine. So, you also have to make peace with that. So, I have met so many, again, I'm here, I'm back. I'm anticipating it every time. Oh, a little bit of break there. Breather. I know. Anyway, I don't know where I was at. Yeah, so you just can't please everyone, and I think, just go with the flow. A lot of self-awareness as well, but if you really love your job, you'll be able to survive through all of that.
Okay, thank you for answering all of my questions. Pero meron ako last questions. For our listeners na super curious or maybe gusto na rin mag-Pilates or take your classes, where can they find you?
So you can find me at Native Tree Canggu. You can Google it. We are in the best area kasi it's right around Starbucks and there's a bunch of wonderful shops around it. And you can find my classes. We also have a website, nativetreepilates.com, or you can follow us on Instagram, nativetreepilates.canggu on Instagram.
Do you have private classes? Yung ikaw lang yung instruct, or would it still be under Native Tree Pilates?
I'm still under Native Tree, so I do private classes under Native Tree. So if you want to book me for a private class, just go into either our website or you can message us on Instagram if you want to book a private class with me.
Okay, so my Instagram, they also have a website, guys. So if you want to book it, just check out the Instagram page or DM them. So that's all for my questions, Jams. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for having me. Thank you for letting me yap for 30 minutes straight.
Thank you so much. Ang dami namin natutunan sa'yo.
So much. Yay!
And yeah, that's for today's episode, babes. Super thank you to Coach Jamica for sharing her story, her Pilates grow, and all those juicy tips to help us feel strong, aligned, and chic while sweating. Ayun, babes, make sure to check her out and maybe book a class while you're in Bali. Who knows, baka mapadpad ka sa Bali. Don't forget to follow Bloomer Babe Podcast on Spotify, YouTube, and Apple Podcast. And if you love this episode, share it with your Pilates besties or that one friend na laging masakit yung likod. So until next Tuesday, babes, stay blooming and strong. Buyers! Special thanks to Montesa Medical Group, Aesthetic Center, Advanced Dermatology, Age Management, and Plastic Surgery. Timeless beauty, safe and worry-free.